Hello and welcome to Telesur. I'm Carla González and this is Interviews from Caracas. Today we are analyzing Venezuela's agricultural program with its director, Leonel Guzmán from Siembra Caracas. Hello Leonel, thank you for being with us. So tell us, what is Siembra Caracas?
Well, the Plan Siembra Caracas is a predictive strategy directed by our commander, President Nicolas Maduro, and carried out by the mayor of the Libertador municipality that seeks to expand the productive capacities of the Caracas people in the agricultural, livestock and vegetable fields. This strategy seeks to bring the entire population of the capital district to be able to supply to all the population of the capital district with the first necessities that occur here in the capital district, in all the municipality Bolivarian.
So when did it begin?
The strategy, the Plan Siembra Caracas, has around 3 years. We could say the strategy itself started from the moments that Commander Chavez assumed power in the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, creating the capacities, the conditions for people to get out of the tanker model and start assuming a different way of producing. The Venezuelan people have come empowering, assuming more and more the productive vocation, and for approximately 3 years begins a strategy in Caracas that seeks to enhance the productive capacity of Caracas. This year, and with the colleague Erica Faria, the mayor of the municipality Bolivarian Libertador, that we have been developing a strategy looking for boost different aspects of productivity in Caracas, production in Caracas, assuming different sectors or productive axes that are going to go little by little, developing and becoming a productive ecosystem to guarantee the first need items or a percentage of the first need products that require the population of the capital district.
So how does it work? Does the community and the government work together to give farmers what they need to produce more?
Yes. The way all this work is focused, we come in an exercise, in the first place, to recognize the capacities existing in our people. We assume from the Bolivarian state, since the Bolivarian Revolution, we assume that our people have the real capacity to produce. That is why our main ally is the people. It is the popular power to be able to develop this strategy. Or popular power, or people who can come slowly developing or assuming the task itself to guarantee the production for themselves. A little breaking up with the standards, with the traditional standards that have been established from, of course, of the rental culture that existed in our country. We, our Bolivarian people, our population, is the main ally. This has been generating the emergence of new organizations that are adding to the productive environment of that, in turn incorporating new techniques to the productive exercise. At this moment we find, for example, assuming that production must be done with a criterion of important sovereignty, and we are assimilating it as a people and we are assimilating as a state. We have to supplant all the logic transnational companies that were having particularly good, were the criterion. Monsanto did a major damage to the population itself, to land and culture of our producers, and, well, we have come gradually coming out of constituting a different dynamic for the production that is indigenous, and that privileges in itself the local production. The production from the Venezuelan territory.
So it's not just an agricultural battle, but it's also a cultural one, to tell people that they've been told not to look away from the mountains, from the trees, to look into the city, into the development of the city, and not to what they have on their own ground, their own soil.
Totally. This is a battle we are developing, which is more than 400 years old. It's a battle. By recovering what we have been or what we were in our lives. And it is a battle against imperialism. It's a battle against all forms of domination that exists in this world. We're a pawn, and we believe firmly that we can, Venezuelans, we can develop our abilities from our ancestral knowledge and from the capabilities of our people. That, well, as you can notice in this space where we are, we had to migrate from the oil exploitation to all our people were affected. Well, for all this culture of rentism had to migrate to the northern French area for entire country, generating this population density. One of the objectives of the plan is to show that in Caracas can be produced, is to be able to show that in this small strip of land, covering around 17,000 hectares with the productive capacities, well, we can develop productive culture that is originally from our people. And well, it is there that we place all this debate, all this historical advance, or transcend historical that we are developing.
And how many workers are currently in this program? How many campesinos are working with you, and what products are they producing?
There are around 600 producers who group the Plan Siembra Caracas, that in a direct way, 600 producers who are all over the capital district, assuming from their plot and with their conditions, with their possibilities, assuming production, but in these territories are also linked other actors, because the production we see not only from the individual to the subject that produces, but the action of the community around the territory. There are thousands of communities. There are around 2,000 communities that are permanently linked in the productive exercise, and that permanently also have been getting by different methods we have established. The tomato that consumes, which is produced here in Caracas, the onion, the chives, the paprika or the red pepper on other sides of this continent, the sweet chili, they are the first necessities that we're producing here, but we also have another type of project. We're producing in the vegetal agricultural field all the vegetables or part of the vegetables that we require, but also the mosaicea, the banana, the tapacho, and the banana that is required. The banana that is required, that is needed thus for the population of Caracas, but also tubers that are first necessity, and on the other hand, we are also driving production in the livestock field, and we have, with a focus on producing the alternative protein, we have focused on the production of rabbits. Today, we have installed here in the capital district a genetic center of production of rabbits. So we have also gone to the birds, and we are producing quail. We have a genetic center of production of quail and birds. we're incorporating recovering the genetics of Venezuelan birds, of the Venezuelan hen, a traditional hen or ancestral in Venezuela that has been displaced in the territory, but we also focus on the production of pork, and we're also producing a genetic center, the breeding ground necessary to be able to feed the productive need that has Caracas, because we assume a theme. It's not about when we want to push a plan. One of the main problems presented to us is the acquisition of the breeding food. So the strategy we have been focusing on establishing genetic units that allow to reproduce the breeding feed necessary for families in Caracas can assume. The task, because it is a task that we are assigning, and that is assuming our people to reproduce in their house, to reproduce in units of family production these animals and be able to have the protein the levels that is required.
So do they get support from the government on tools, on supplies, on also just information on how to produce all these things?
Yes, indeed. One thing is the animal or the transporter that we can grant the raw material for production. The financial support that is also provided from the state with facilities and the necessary methodologies that we have. But we also have the capacity and the possibility from an articulated exercise between the institution of the state that make life here in the capital district in the formative field. Technically, fundamentally, the great mission to know and work. The INSIs, institutions or organizations that thus guarantee the training to a group to the people. All this is to service of the production. All this infrastructure of training is at the service of the production. But in turn, there is an army that comes creating. We assume it with strongly because it is also the genuine expression that if you can, that is the army of masters people or popular power, their ancestral knowledge. The companions who have come or who have the knowledge in the village have been put to the service of the plans that we're promoting, and not only in the plans of in Caracas. We have wide productive range, and we're talking about that we have our towns available for the technical advice in different fields of food processing. In the same scheme of production with bio, production of the animals, in this case livestock, each scope has its specialized technical team to support in the formative exercise, in the exercise of technical accompaniment in itself.
So it seems that you're doing a lot of work on the first part of the chain of command in a production, but what happens if you help the campesinos, the farmers here, to produce more, to sustain themselves? But what about the distribution part? That's also a problem.
Yes, of course. Effectively, distribution, it constitutes one of the important links to solve within the whole productive change all this that today we're impulsing and that we're developing here in the country. It has been the opportunity that has given the economic war against our people, and at that time we have indeed said we will produce in the primary link of production, and we have to get in and we will show that we can produce, and that's what we find ourselves doing right now. But there is also another situation that has to do with distribution, as you access our people to the products we are generating in these territories. We in the capital district have driven two methodologies. First of all, our commander-president designed a political organization strategy, how good it has to be the cell today for all food distribution exercise, and from other areas throughout the territory that are the CLAP, the local committee of supply and production. These local committee of supply and production are organized by community in a territory. Through the club is the methodology of distribution that we assume, but as access to the club to the heading. Well, we have two tools that we have designed. First of all, strengthening the existing markets in the territory. Caracas has a market infrastructure around 14 markets that are put to the service at the time of distributing food for people effectively. They take these markets, they are starting to carry all this production, but there is another exercise that is closer to our people. There is the market that is a physical space on each communal axis or parish, but also exists, on the other hand, a way that we have been defining as the verbines of Caracas, which is good distribution exercises, types fairs or bazaars that are made in communities and these spaces. We not only same this production, which we can observe, we incorporate other type of elements. The bazaar is a marketing point where producers bring production with the redundancy. They bring the production and guarantee from that space that our people can access a fair price. To the items, to the goods there are distributed, not only distributed vegetables, as I told you, also the nurseries. There is also an experience here in Caracas developing that is very important with the front bakers Hugo Chavez. Also distributed the bread in that territory, in that space, and good every week. Every 7 days it's being developed in all the municipalities of the capital district.
And that was about to be my next question. What about the prices? Because we can try to control this part, the production, and also try to work on the distribution. But what about the prices? There's fixed prices, prices that go up and down depending on the day, on the week, on the place that people are.
Sí, por supuesto. El tema precios, en este caso, en las condiciones que nos encontramos en el país de asedio.
Yes, of course, the price issue in this case, under the conditions that we find in the country of siege, of permanent siege is a constant debate that one has in our population. We indeed today have assumed that the only way to control the phenomenon of speculation, because it's not an issue of inflation. The phenomenon is not inflationary, that's given in Venezuela. It's an atrocious speculation, even oversized, that is which is coming in our territory. We assume that the only way to control that is by controlling primary production. The benchmark they use today to set prices in Venezuela is the value of dollar. Through our web page and several elements that we have, a financial architecture that have been assembled, we have assumed that the primary production guaranteeing the control of the primary output and guaranteeing in turn the direct link with the producers and the attention to the producers, we will be able to really affect the issue of the prices. In the case of this production, it has a percentage of subsidy. It has production that we have managed to stabilize prices from a management model that we have established with the same producers. Well, it allows us to power putting the items at the prices it requires or the fair prices required for the market. It is not that producers lose. It is not that our people can access the items. It is not either that the broker is the one who wins. It is in this case to make available the item and that the producers can restore and that our people can consume, and that exercise we have been struggling to control the subject price. This battle doesn't culminate with this. We're actually good, not as it depends on this anymore. Indeed, there is a set of elements that are being developed in the country today. We're implementing the plan or the economic recovery program oriented by a commander-president. And well, we're assuming that from this policy in the coming days, our country will be able to solve and stabilize our whole issue of the prices, not only the items in a plant farm production, but on all the areas of common consumption that are in the country.
It seems a complex situation to work on. Do you work with any other organizations or communities that help in this issue?
Sure, exactly. Here participates, we're not alone. We're part of a national movement and revolutionary force that, as I said, it has fundamental essence is the Bolivarian people, the Venezuelan people who have come organizing in communes, which has been organized in communal councils, has been organizing in parties, has been organizing in clubs, has been organizing in movements, has been organizing in youth, in themselves, but particularly in this area, there has been an important move in Caracas, and not only in Caracas, all over the country, that has to do fundamentally with the emergence of agro-urban movements or agricultural movements. In these days, we witness the peasant march here in Caracas, and in these days, we also witness as the youth of Caracas was organized to take spaces and putting them to produce. All this effort is a collective effort of all the political forces that accompanies the Bolivarian revolution and youth conscience that has come assuming permanently the challenge of producing in the present conditions. And on this, fold the enemy and guarantee here the existence of a fertile territory for the production.
So it seems this program in different parts that it's working on is just starting. For example, here has a couple of months just started. How do you see this on the long run? At the end of 2018, maybe 2020, how do you see it in the future?
We have effectively this plan has different stages. Already at this time we have around 400 hectares sown in Caracas, and there is a production, a yield per hectare of around 10,000 kilograms per hectare. There is a productive exercise that is already developing to produce in the vegetal agricultural field. No, let's not say it's not linear. We won't have the results immediately or even or parallel or stable not. Indeed, there are different stages. At the stage we're at this time here is precisely phase number 1 we have sown. We have a condition. They will begin to reproduce these fruits that we're sowing here. We hope to arrive in the next 2 years. We should be arriving in Caracas around 5,000 hectares, a planting surface of almost 5,000 hectares. But well, the plan for the year 2019 is to be able to reach 1,500 hectares. We have all identified the investment plans developed, this moment developing were the exercise planning the 2019, and we're addressing one of the main problems that the capital district has for production, which has to do with the ecosystem of risk with water and goods. Before that we had designed a strategy that seeks the construction of solutions viable to sustain productivity in time, because Caracas has a series of springs. On those springs we will be working recovering watersheds, fundamentally in good building the aqueducts necessary to achieve that the 1,500 hectares that we will be planting have its continuity in time. It is to start the production process, but to go consolidating at the same time an infrastructure that allows it to keep it in the time, and that also allows to take out all this production, to take it to the exercise, to the distribution mechanisms that we have established in Caracas.
So Leonel, it seems that these are deep changes for the community in general and for the specific farmers in themselves as well. How does that involve, for example, family members, other farmers? You've been in this project for a while. Can you tell us your experiences that you've had before?
Look, the experience there is a lot of today Caracas. Today, the Venezuelan people has history, has done something like we said, like the Che said, has made every day the extraordinary. Our people. Well, there are many experiences. I could tell you an exercise we managed to do in a territory nearby called Sinai, located in the Junquito, a parish of the capital district in this space. Out there, we found some gullies, was falling a land that was previously raised to build houses and that, well, had been left in ruins. There around Sinai, there is a neighborhood around 2,000 families. 2,000 people live there. That people one day invited Erica and said, we go there. You see what we can do here. What we need is to help us say that our people, and that our people, or grab Erica and put it there, and Erica had to committed to that people, and that people said, I can and could. There in Sinai, we have right now a projection of achieving 70 hectares zone, that we have 20, and those 20 hectares have already achieving. That you can see the model of production that needs our country. Today, Sinai is a reference for the entire capital district, and surely we will continue to promote in the coming days experiences like Sinai. We can see in Caracas in different sites, right here where we find the first commune, created by the Bolivarian Revolution, created by Commander Chavez, is this territory where we are at this time. This is the commune Wallen, Spain, and the town of Wallen, Spain has been assuming the productive channel and is one of the major communes productive that has the capital district. And these spaces we have many in the capital district. We can effectively of this talk and tell thousands of stories.
Yes, indeed, we can. Thank you very much, Leonel, for your time. It seems that it's a challenge, but with a positive attitude and with the tools to make it can be a possibility, it can be a reality. Thank you very much.
Gracias.
Thank you very much.
So we've been talking to Leonel Guzmán from Plan Siembra Caracas on how to achieve sustainability in a community and in the country as well. This is Interviews from Caracas. I'm Carla González, and until the next time.